Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Transformational Scientist talking to you about AEW's Dynamite. This is the first Dynamite after AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. A pay-per-view I put out for my great-grandmother. And even though it was 4.5 hours long, I think she sat through it all, enjoyed it. When I talked to her about it, she really, the thing that left the impression was the blood from the cage match, which I was like, okay, yeah, that was quite a bit, Mom. We ended up watching the Swerve match together, and she just hated the family. She loves Swerve. Could not understand why that family kept bothering that poor black man. And then we watched the Anarchy in Arena, and that just blew her mind. She didn't understand what she was seeing. She just took it in as if it was just one big circus show. And she kept wondering, like, don't they feel pain? Don't they get hurt? That poor boy burning, like, is he gonna get hurt? She treats it as if it's real, and that's sometimes the type of energy I want to have, because there's nothing like just sitting in and enjoying what's going on in front of you, just having it wash over you as if it's an experience. And that's what wrestling, when it's at its best, is. It's just a wonderful experience, isn't it? If you think so, please let me know. And while you're letting me know, please make sure you like and subscribe. And also share this content with other people. Because without support from people like you, I will have a difficult time growing and finding spaces for my voice to be heard. So please, as much as you can do, I really appreciate it, and thank you. Now, this show tonight started off with something we don't really get a lot in AEW, an opening promo. We had Mercedes Moné come down into the ring and talk to us about, the difficult journey that she's been through, getting the belt, this, that, and another. I feel within the context of this promo, she was giving feelings of being a faith, kind of like a cocksure person who just believes in themselves, which can be a bit grating at times. You don't know if a person's being like super prideful or if they just feel really confident. And of course, she had to do that alongside Willow, which in pretty much any circumstance is going to make people want to boo you, because Willow's just so awesome. Still here, she gave props to Willow, called her out, said that she hoped Willow was able to get comeuppance against Stankley and Chris Statlander, and that she believes she would at some point. So a standard kind of promo, but what made it interesting was we had an interruption. Now on the screen we get Sky Blue. I was a bit shocked by this, but I was intrigued. What's going on here? We learned from Sky Blue that a few weeks back when Mercedes Moné was attacked by someone, we don't know, during an interview with Renee Paquette, we learned here that the person behind that horrible and horrendous attack was Sky Blue. I thought it was going to be Statlander or Stankley, but thinking about it, it doesn't make sense for Statlander and Stankley to have gone into things on their own in order to help Willow when they didn't like Willow. I'd be curious, I guess, I can't think of a reason why now, with what had gone on, a reason for them to have done that. Because they didn't want Willow to have the belt. They wanted to screw Willow because, as we learn a little bit later, Stankley hates Willow and Statlander is not too keen on her herself. So I guess Sky Blue, I don't think she gave a reason for why she did this. Mercedes Moné didn't have the belt yet, so there's no reason there to do this. But for whatever reason, Sky Blue is taking the credit. And lo and behold, a few seconds later, Sky Blue comes out. She gets Mercedes Moné on her blind side, beats her up a little bit, holds the belt up, and which is very rare for AEW. This set up a match for later on in the night. Very, very rare. Now, I like this. I like the fact that they have something that something gets started off, they blow it off within the show itself. And for this show, I didn't think we were going to get a lot of matches. I think we only got 4 on the main card. We got 3 dark matches. Well, we didn't get 3 dark matches, but there were 3 dark matches. So it's kind of good to see, CM Punk's best friend Cole Cabana still getting work. But there were only 4 matches on a card. A lot of talking, a lot of setup. I expected this. I didn't expect so much of seeing people so many multiple times within the night. I I enjoy that. The time is very limited, so it's unfortunate that other people didn't get, time to do a lot of things. We didn't hear from Roderick. We didn't hear from, MJF. There was a lot of things that happened at the pay-per-view which did not get spoken about in this particular. We didn't hear from Willow at all. So it was very, very curious, the choices. But at the same time, it was nice to see them doing something which is a little bit different. Anyway, this set up a match for later on tonight, and that was that segment. Would I watch this again? Not really. I might watch it again just to find out if, reasons for Sky Blue to do this, but at the moment, I think I'll just wait, talk to other people, and see what they say. If you know, let me know. Because if you don't know, I don't know. And if I don't know, I can't let you know. So you have to let me know if I know that you don't know. Because if you don't know, then I won't know that I don't know that you don't know. All right, so next up, nothing special, but I do want to draw your attention to the blood on the bus. I think that's supposed to be Darby's blood. Not bad touch, guys. Not bad touch. That's something that I really like about the Elite. They really think through their whole... They just think through their stuff. And it's really nice to see. I think one of the things around the time when the Elite signed up again, when they got new contracts, I don't think they felt very passionate about what they were doing. They didn't really have... Maybe they didn't feel they had a direction. Maybe they just felt like there wasn't a spot for them. But now that they kind of gone into, really digging into some of the negative comments that they get and some of the negative regard that they get, they, reinvented themselves slightly. They're really pushing this EVP thing. And for me, it's working. No BS here. Not Paul White. No BS here. I really, really, really enjoy the Elite. So here we got a recap about what happened last Saturday. And this is kind of interesting because we don't really see stuff like this all that often. They don't really do these video packages the night after. So it was kind of cool to see them trying something that's just a little bit different. So we have Swerve opening another show. He didn't get the main event. The main event does directly tie into him, and we do see him as the very last image. So that's not so bad. But we get Swerve here. I don't know. He is benefiting from... No, he's not benefiting from the run-in because he's not the first thing that we see. Mercedes Moné is the first thing that we see. So interesting that we're putting the TNT Championship over the world's belt. I don't know. I didn't hear anybody talk about that, but saying that out loud kind of feels dirty. Okay, all right. At least it's the first match, but is that not what I'm saying? At least that's still a low shift, and I've been frustrated about that. In fact, this is like when Swerve first won the belt. But if I start talking about Swerve now, I think I might go into an hour-long diatribe because, truthfully, I don't feel like they're booking Swerve in a strongest way. A bunch of us watching this show felt a certain way by the end of it. I'm going to see Swerve hopefully twice within the next few months. Once at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, second time at House of Glory. If anyone's in the New York area and would like to go see a wrestling show and meet the Transformational Scientist, I will be there with Swerve in attendance, hopefully while he still wears the belt, but there are some fears in that. So Swerve's match tonight is with the dragon. No, he's not a dragon. He's a dinosaur. With the dinosaur kill switch. And this was interesting because it was a tie-in with House of Dragon. But kill switch is a dinosaur. Wouldn't it have been better if Daniel Bryanson rode out on kill switch so you had a dragon riding a dinosaur? That would have been an ultimate. I mean, the dinosaur bit doesn't matter, but a dragon on a dinosaur? Come on, who wouldn't pay money for that? So we have Kill Switch and Swerve going at it. It is, two big men, one real big man, though he's only 6'5". Adam Copeland actually kind of hovers over Killswitch, if you have ever seen pictures of them when they were first fighting. I don't have much to say. I enjoyed this match. It was fun. Killswitch's heat segments was pretty much only within the picture-in-picture, which is a bit sad. He did get a chance to show his athleticism off when he did a standing moonsault onto Swerve, which was freaking awesome. He's a guy like Brian Cage who can really, really go for a big man. And they kind of treat him like a staggering, I don't know. I do feel in AEW, the big men, the really, really big men, kind of get a short thrift. They're not always booked to what they can do. A lot of times I feel like they're given the whole, slow down a little bit. Like the Indian Giant, I forget what we're calling him. He's a bit slower and whatnot, but even he does a cross body block, which is kind of amazing for, Satnam Singh. He does a cross body block that is just ridiculous. I'm still shocked we didn't see it during the Daniel Bryanson match, but I don't know. Anywho, it was a match, and Swerve won. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this match. One thing I will say, and I've already talked about this, I hope that Swerve thinks about his Swerve Stomp. The night call is devastating, and if he had another finisher, or if he kept the Swerve Stomp to like special occasions, I think he could hold that for special moments, and then maybe you can do a better setup with it. He does it in different ways. Like one time in this match, he was going to do like a stomp onto Killswitch, and he landed on his shoulders and like pushed him down. It looked awkward. It didn't look like the most impactful thing, but it was different. And difference cool. Like when you see the same thing over and over again, something makes you go, huh? You're like, it sits with you. And those are the things that kind of are meaningful and are placed deeply within the long-term memory. Okay, what do you see? Of course, you see someone cutting someone else's hair, but is it their hair? Maybe they worked through this. Maybe Swerve was in the moment. You see him like just pulling on this mask. He cuts off the hair, and maybe that's it. Maybe I'm taking this too deeply. Like the mask is a part of the man, and this was really more of a metaphor than anything else, and a token. So I'm going to give this a pass. It made me laugh and like go, huh? But you know what? Sometimes you just have to sit back because, what is wrestling if not suspending your disbelief? This pushes it quite a bit, but within the context of a story, I'll let them have it. I'm not gonna arse too much about this. So next up, we find out not much. Just Moxley does his thing. He's a good talker. His interviews are nice. Would I watch the Killswitch Swerve match again? No. Would I watch this again? No. It was chatty. There's nothing really. He's hard. He's going to be fighting. He's going to fight through different pay-per-views. He's going to be at Forbidden Door. He's got a hurt arm. It's Moxley, all right? He's the new tougher than shit Superman. He's the new tougher than shit Punisher. I don't know. He just gets beaten up all the time and, doesn't feel pain. And if you saw the Marvel Punisher, you know what I'm talking about. That was a pretty good show. I think I'm going to have to go back and check that out. So next we have Jericho, the learning tree. And I can tell you on the first go around, I was watching it with a bunch of people. If you have time, if you're around on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, sometimes Sundays for pay-per-views, but on those primary days, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, I generally do AEW and Ring of Honor watch-along with a few different people. During this watch-along, I gotta tell you, I just tuned out. As soon as this segment came on, I just tuned out. I don't care about Jericho. I think there are other people who are doing what he's trying to do much better than he is. I mentioned earlier about the Elite, how much I like them. They are leaning into what people say about them online, and it's working really well. Jericho, he's trying to lean into what people are saying about him, but it's not working the same way. when it comes to go away heat, I feel like it's applied sometimes where it's not necessary. Sometimes people are just disliked, but here I understand what people mean when they say go away heat. Truly, I think that's what this man has. And I love Big Bill. During the pay-per-view, absolute class. There are moments when he started taunting and showing himself, but like, I don't know if they're going for a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing with him, where he's always smiling and pretending to be nice, and then he goes a bit nutty when it comes to, being a heater for Jericho. Whatever it is, I don't like it. I don't care for it. This is just a personal thing. If you like it, please let me know. I know there are people that like it out there. Please let me know why. All right, so I did go back just to see what was talked about in this segment. Really, I wanted to understand and see, because even during the beginning, I figured that this would really annoy me, so I just tuned it out. I'm starting to realize that this company is just, the booker of this company is just, they have their desires, they have their likes, they have their patterns, and if I either take it and say this is just who they are, I have to change myself, or I don't and I go away. I stop watching. And honestly, with Brian Keith, it makes me want to stop. It makes me want to stop. The double submission thing the other week, there's just a bunch of things that make me think this doesn't have to be for me. And this is particularly one of those things. So Brian Keith comes out and we learn a little bit about why he did this. Ultimately, he wants to be under the learning tree. And I like, why? Who has Jericho built in his time in AEW that makes anyone like stand up? JAS? No. Daniel Garcia is on this episode talking about how he feels bad and how he doesn't feel like he's getting attention and he's kind of lost and such. Sammy Guevara? No, I'm sorry. He had a time with the TNT belt and different things, but he has not lived up to what he could do. I mean, the other pillars, whether it be MJF or Darby or now we're seeing with Jack Perry, those individuals are taken off and none of them have been under the, as far as I can remember, under the learning tree. So like, what is the motivation for someone in that world of wrestling to look at that individual who came out much worse going into a thing with Jericho than when they started? Remember Kingston? Kingston went into a program with Jericho, and by the end of it, like, it just made Kingston look like crap. Action Andretti. What's going on with Action Andretti? He had that win over him and got talked up by Jericho for a hot minute. Nothing. So anyway, what made this even worse is that even without having a reason to really sit on the learning tree, we have Brian Keith come out. He's like, I want to be with you. I think you're the hottest thing since sliced bread. I would need to be with you. Take me, Jericho. And it's just like, dude, really? So he starts talking up Jericho. He's like telling the crowd that they deserve to give Jericho respect. Start talking about him bootlicking. And I just wondered, like, who wrote this? One person thought it was wise to let this strong black man speak up to this entitled, prissy white person and like just act like, they're nothing and this person is the savior of them. The white savior. Who is writing this? It is not someone who is sensitive to the plight of a person of color. Someone, WrestleTati, had mentioned that she had hoped that Brian Keith was using this as an opportunity to take a bounty. Jericho had taken a bounty on Hook and Shibata. He came to collect it. And I was wondering, like, okay, well, what if Brian Keith comes down? He comes down, he asks for his bounty, and Jericho's like, you know what I'm going to give you? I'm going to give you free lessons under the learning tree. And he's like, get F this noise. You think I want some lessons from you? From you? You ain't nothing. He beats up Jericho. He gets into a little thing with the, Big Bill, probably backs off a little bit, but gives him the stank eye and be like, I'm coming for you. Then I would have Brian Keith maybe like, just run roughshod. Like whatever match they're in, he just keeps messing it up for him to the point where Jericho has to give him a match. And whether he wins or loses, at least he shows that he can mess stuff up and get under Jericho's skin. And even if Jericho is a heel, then, maybe this would push Brian Keith into being a face. I don't know. It's just spitballing. I'm not a booker. This just didn't sit well with me, and I don't see where we're going. I'm not interested in seeing where we're going. I want this off my TV. Please, Tony Khan, take this off my TV. I don't think it's getting taken off of my TV, and I don't want to hope for Jericho to be hurt. So I'll just say I hope Jericho gets the bug to do an acting job, and it takes him a whole year to film it, and during that time, he's busy and can't be wrestling. Oh, I didn't know this before, but the monitor that they had showed a few different images. It went from saying TV time. What is TV time with the learning tree? What does that mean? TV time? Oh, Jericho. You gotta stop, Jericho. You gotta stop. Thinking about it, it's a little messed up that Jericho's whole bit in this was like, I like TV time, I want TV time, so I'm going to take it, especially when the critique that he's pushing against is that there are younger people or other stars who could take time, but he's taking the time that could go to building these other stars. That's kind of effed up to be giving the audience and the people who believe this the finger. I don't think these are, I mean, some are grifters, and another topic for another day. Some people are grifters, but truthfully, this is one of those moments where the sentiment of you going home is a sentiment that's shared by a lot of people. Of course, I say that as one individual, and my experiences are just those that are around me. But who enjoys this? If you do, please let me know. Really, please let me know. And why? What makes this so enjoyable for you? I have had moments where I haven't liked things, like Juice Robinson. When he first came, I'll tell you, I didn't think he was anything. But we'll see Juice a little bit later. And I got to tell you, the 3 seconds he was on my screen, I smiled and had so much effing fun. Because just Juice is brilliant and awesome now. Back to this segment. We had Hook come out. His thing is he flips security guards. Samoa Joe comes out, matching me a little bit, and whispers into Hook's ear, and they walk off together. Not watching this again. Oh, real quickly, let me just touch on Hook. I know that there are people who have hoped that Hook will go to NXT, and I don't understand it. My perception is that NXT is not really a place for people who don't have experience to be built into, great wrestlers. There are some wrestlers, from my understanding, that they're starting off and they're not particularly very strong. And or ones that are average don't really improve or go to some, next level. It's the ones that have had experience and that are brought in or are people who are second generation and they've had wrestling experience in the context of getting that knowledge of wrestling from someone previously. And Hook is someone like that, but at this stage in his career, he is so raw and so young. If it was me personally, I wouldn't send him to NXT. I would take 2-3 years for this fellow and just put him back on the independents. Put him back on. I don't think he was on the independents. Put him on the independents, send him to Japan, go to Europe and the UK, go to South America, go to Canada, go across North America. Just get experience within different promotions, finding out how to work different crowds, getting techniques from different people, going to different schools and learning new things. Right now, suplexes, he's got a submission move. He's a one-dimensional character, wrestler who doesn't have much going on other than this charisma that, to me, has been diminished over time. The more we see Hook, the less there feels to be to care about him. For me, if you love him, please let me know what you love about him. And this is not a disrespect, because I still really like Hook. I still think he's got a lot of upside. He still really can give you something special with his aura and everything. It's just, it feels like they're pushing him beyond his means, and he only has like 20 plus matches. That's not what I understand that will make a wrestler, you know? Like, you see Kenny Omega, you see an Ospreay, they were grinding on the indies and different promotions before they got to, you know, places of significance. So do that for a few years. Then if you want to go to NXT, great. Learn their house style as well. Become an even bigger star. And then go home to where you really should be, Hook. Go home to your great, wonderful AEW. Stephanie Vacher. What can I say? Stephanie Vacher. I don't know her. I think just look at her. She's a belt collector. The corset, the look, the everything. Pretty effing awesome. I've been hearing that this is a very strong wrestler. As someone mentioned that they believe that this wrestler is even a stronger wrestler than Athena, which is ridiculous to think about. So it's going to be quite interesting to see her within the realms of AEW. Forgive me if I don't go too deeply into this. I tuned out. I will say I tuned out on this. I'm sure it was a fine match. Rocky is a great worker. Moxley had a bad arm. I don't know what to tell you. I had no, there's nothing really to make me really want to see this. And you heard my feelings about what was done to Takeshita and how I think at the very least Moxley is being protected so strongly that there's, you know, people that he comes across are being stepped on, and he's gotten top billing over my man Swerve. So I'm not going to go into it beyond that. I'll just say this match happened. Would I watch this again? No. All right, so after that, we have a little backstage segment with Hook and Samoa Joe. Again, if you notice, rocking the same I don't know. We didn't really call each other, but, you know, great minds, right? And you know what? Please don't body shame this man. Like, this guy, he's probably making bank. He's, you know, an actor. He can rap. He hung out with the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, he's living a good life. He's a freaking world champion within multiple promotions. He has a storied career. He still can go. You want to tell him something about his weight? Wait until you stand face to face with him and then open your mouth. Like, let that be the opportunity for you to share your lack of mutual respect. Yeah, but I don't know. I forget what they really talked about. It's something about bad men happen on our time. Would I watch this again? Yeah, but only because of Samoa Joe and how awesome he is. Also, I noticed that Hook has a Pearl Jam t-shirt, and I'm like, bruv, you young. Pearl Jam? I don't know. Maybe it's a thing for the younger generation, and I hope, because Pearl Jam is really good. One of Matt Hardy's favorite bands. So next up, we have a segment with Don Callis. Oh, he's a heat magnet. I didn't mention, I think tonight's audience was like 6,000. I didn't quite believe that. They were in California at the Key Market Arena, something like that. The lighting was really dark for this episode, even though there were 6,000 people. It makes me think that this must have been a gigantic stadium if they lit things in this particular way. 6,000 people is a pretty good audience for Dynamite. And they were loud the whole time. So, I don't know. That was a little strange. So, in this segment, we have Don Callis and Orange Cassidy. Don Callis offers Orange Cassidy a contract. Orange Cassidy slowly rips it up. Orange Cassidy had a mic in his shirt for some reason. And he just didn't want to do it. So, oddly, we had Stankley and Statlander come out. Stankley is, of course, the #1 hater. And within this, we get Statlander coming out. She starts talking to Orange Cassidy. Ultimately, she told Don Callis that, you know, someone from their best friends, her friend, accepts the contract. Lo and behold, we get Trent Beretta looking good in his Devil Darks and just he beats up on Orange Cassidy, punching him, screaming, "I hate you, I hate you, I hate you." It felt like he hated him. And I don't know if he busted him open hard way, but with the way things were going, it must have been quick the way they got blood for, or color, got color, as I understand they call it. But they got it within the context of all of this, and there's no place for Orange Cassidy to hide. So I really wonder if this was done the hard way. It was just on the very, very top, but it was gruesome, and the blood did pour out and hit the ring. Very, very nasty, very unique. Good heat segment for Trent. I didn't understand why, though, Don Callis would want Trent to be in his group, because Trent's a loser. Why, when you have Ospreay, one of the hottest studs in the wrestling market, do you want someone who is a perennial loser? Regardless of if you like you offered a contract to Orange Cassidy. What if Orange Cassidy did not rip it up? If Orange Cassidy became of the Don Callis family, would Statlander come out? And then what would Trent say? Like, I'm going to be part of the family too? Or would he then go, this wasn't, now that I'm picking it apart, this was not a segment I feel that was very strong. And I feel so bad. I don't want to sound like I'm being completely negative about it. I love AEW. I just don't feel like this particular moment was all that well done. However, with that said, I will say I'm happy to see Trent as a heel. Like, he felt mean and vicious. And there was a little moment where he seemed intimidating Don Callis before he opens his arm, and, well, you got to give the people what they want. I love this. If you take a look, Don Callis has his foot on Orange Cassidy. That's heel stuff right there. That's heel, like, it's like he's just pissing on him or something. I love that. I love that. That did make me happy. So look at me, being positive, being smiley due to the thrift. In fact, I know I'm supposed to hate this stuff, but I generally, when I see it and I enjoy it, I'll clap, I'll smile, I'll, freak out and be all happy. Then I remind myself to go, boo, boo, hiss, boo, hiss, boo, me, a mother? Sorry, wrong segment. Oh, and I did really like that they gave Trent a lot of FUs in this. F you, Trent, F you, Trent, F you, Trent. It doesn't sound as cool with just one guy in his studio going, F you, Trent. But when you got a stadium of 6,000 people doing it, it's pretty impressive. Good on you, Trent. Good on you. Oh, yeah, I even think we got some, oh, that's right, we got "you sold out" chants. Man, they were really, really hating on Trent. It was pretty good stuff. Good thrift here. So, a bit shocking, a promo to set up a match. I know someone on What Culture, I don't know, but I have a feeling someone on What Culture, he doesn't typically like these things. I don't know whether he'll like this or not because it's done sparingly, but I'm curious. I'm curious to find out what others' opinions were of this, because it's really not a trope in AEW. It is a trope for Raw, WWE Raw, as I understand it. I haven't watched Raw in a billion years. But something I understand they do still do is the segment for setting up a match later in the night. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. There was an interview in the back with Renee Paquette and Daniel Garcia. Danny Magic was there, but he didn't really say anything. He kind of just looked at his young protege, and I guess they're going back to that again, father and son. They're not really father and son. They're not. There's just kind of a thing that they got going on there. But Danny's from New York. He doesn't have a Canadian father. Excuse me. Within this segment, Garcia basically talks about how there are people who, basically he's saying the quiet part out loud. He's taking a knock on Ospreay and saying, like, people are giving him the red carpet, treating him like he's a star. He's just been in there where Daniel Garcia has been getting dirty and has been working through all of these different things in order to be the wrestler that he wants to be. But, he's not getting the opportunities that an Ospreay is. And he doesn't say Ospreay, but because we're talking about the international title, who he doesn't care has it at the moment. We know that it's directed towards Osprey. And, you know, considering they had this moment, what comes a lot later on absolutely doesn't make sense. But we'll get to that frustration in a moment. This segment here, I enjoyed. I like to see Daniel Garcia. He wasn't yelling, he wasn't screaming. It was a very soft approach to his speak, kind of like Jake the Snake promo, but without the venom. We learned in this segment that Kyle O'Reilly will have a match with Osprey during Collision, while Daniel Garcia is giving his intention for going for the international belt. To be determined when that will happen. So interesting that they're setting all of this up, especially with what comes later. So this segment, and I would watch the Don Callis segment again, just because of Orange Cassidy getting beaten up, Trent being a badass, Statlander being out there, Stankley being Stankley, number one hater, and then of course you have Don Cornelius. All right, so back to the TBS Championship match with Mercedes Moné and Sky Blue. Good match, good match. I'm glad to see Mercedes putting some work in. She is a very strong wrestler. And with me, I did take the time to go back and look at the pay-per-view to see how I felt about certain things. I told you I watched some of it with my mom. And the Willow and Mercedes match, I think, I underappreciated the first time I watched it. I don't know what took me out of it. I might have had the echoes of the Deonna Purrazzo and, oh, who was it? Deonna Purrazzo. Who was it? Thunderstorm, right? Maybe I was thinking about them because they had such a strong, vicious fight, and it was just so really, really, like you really felt it. But I went back and I looked, and I got the same feeling with the Mercedes and Willow match. The finisher for Mercedes, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. It seems so complicated and just awkward. And I think later on in this match, the reason why I think Sky Blue was given this is because she has, I can't remember the name of it, but she has a move where she kind of jumps off of someone's back and does a move which allows her to be in a setup which sits so well with Mercedes Moné's finisher. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's also addressing like young stars getting a chance to, you know, show up and show out. And Sky Blue is someone who has been improving, and one of the people who, I gotta check to see if she does stuff on the independents. I gotta imagine she does. But she's someone who has definitely improved over time, and this was a chance to like let her have something. It was very short, it was very quick, you know, it was built over one episode, where maybe you could have dragged it out to an episode or two, I don't know. Typically you either get these short little stories or you get some that are a bit extended. I would have liked to see this be a bit extended, but I guess they have other ideas for where they're going. This was interesting, but I worry that because they had that, I mean, it's long term. They had that backstage segment previously, but will they go anywhere with it? I have to imagine maybe it's setting something up with Julia Hart when she gets back. For now, though, this was a fun match. It was, you know, one of the better ones of the night. At least I paid attention to this one, unlike the one with Jon Moxley and Azukar. Oh, there was a moment where Jade Blue, she kind of got Mercedes Moné up into something that looked like it was going to be a Jada, and then spun her out and flipped her and made her land like a pancake on the ground. I liked it. I enjoyed that. I was something different. I don't know if there's a name for it. Personally, I thought that was something different that I hadn't seen, and I hope Sky Blue keeps it. Oh, and I gotta say, the crowd was into this. They were really, really into this. Mercedes Moné is someone that the crowd is taken to. Will this, you know, translate to viewership? I don't know if it matters because I'm watching right now. And the crowd really, really enjoyed it. So as long as I'm happy and the crowd's happy. So here, if you take a look, you'll see this is exactly what I'm talking about. So Sky Blue's move goes into Mercedes Moné move. I really really wonder, is that the reason why? Very cool here. If you take a look, Mercedes Moné's arm is under Sky Blue's shoulder. And she realizes, Mercedes Moné, and it must have like played in her head. So instead of, the ref is going through it, maybe the ref doesn't quite see it, but it's subtly, Mercedes Moné moves her arms out of the way to make sure that the shoulder is directly on the mat. Little small things like this that is, probably the experience that someone like her has. And, it's okay if you draw attention to these things. Whether someone considers this a flub, a botch, I don't know. But to me, I thought it was interesting because I didn't notice it at all. I just saw the little shift, and then I heard Taz talking about it. I was like, okay, I see you. So after this, we have post-match celebration. But who comes out? Stephanie Vaquer. Not only did we get a package to set up so we know who this person is, but we get to see them. Please, TK. Please, the production team behind AEW. Please keep doing this. Show vignettes of individuals. Let us know even just a brief moment of why we should care, and then present them. I am not someone who knows New Japan. I am not someone who knows CMLL. You have to help me out with these things. I will know that they are important based on their presentation. Sure, I'm smart enough to know that. But sometimes I do like to know a little bit about the person that I'm seeing. It just makes it, especially when it's a segment like this, because Stephanie Vaquer is just coming out. She holds up her belt. She stares down Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné holds up her belt. And, it's just a moment. This doesn't mean anything. It's not a match. It doesn't present anything. But because I had the context earlier and people were like, ooh, now I get to go, okay, all right. And yeah, personally, like the Stephanie Vaquer has a very distinct and strong look. A very, very captivating person. But that's just the physical. And this is the world of wrestling. You can look very good. You can speak very good. What are you like when it comes to the ring? Excuse me, I'm pretty sure Cornette would disagree with that. He has a certain look like that he likes, wrestling style or not. And if I remember correctly, it was one of the reasons why he failed when it came to Ring of Honor. That's right. Cornette failed when it came to Ring of Honor. Come at me, bros! No, don't come at me. Now, after this, we have Stankley and Statlander in the back. They were talking with Renee Paquette. They kind of shove Renee out of the way, and they pretty much take their time. It was pretty nice here. Again, we saw them 2-3 times throughout the night. Here, they're giving us an explanation. I don't remember the four-way myself, or I'm sorry, was it a four-way or was it a tag? It might have been a four-way. And they mentioned that Statlander had said that she would like a chance at the TNT title herself one day. And that this was the opportunity, or that she wanted the chance at the TNT title, but Willow didn't listen. She didn't give a crap. But who did listen? Stankley. Stankley's got that shoulder that you can always lean on. I really like this promo, and for this and for the women's match that came before this, I would watch both of these, especially with how strong Statlander came off. I remember Statlander when she was the alien and she was booping people on the nose. And then either before or after she had gotten her ACL injury, she repackaged herself. And it was just no longer an alien. She was just more than a woman, I forget how it goes. So it's really cool to see her evolve and her grow. She is someone that, if you are paying attention, you see that there are characters who grow over time. And while she had a gimmick which you might call silly, she was with her best friends and whatnot. Oh, I miss Danhausen. She, saw that she didn't have an edge, and that led her to putting away the silly gimmick and being more who she was. And now we have a further progression of that. Stankley's been chasing her for quite some time now. And now this is all coming together. I'm happy with this. This is one of the finer things that is happening in the women's division that I think is just so amazing. What happened to Stankley in WWE that they let this guy go? He's so brilliant and funny and talented. How do you not look at him and think, I can do something with him? Why is he not ruling Ring of Honor? I like that he's on television, and I'm glad that he's on television. I just want to see more and more and more of this man. He's one of the few people I feel if I got more of, I wouldn't tire of, if you know what I mean. Oh, and Statlander says she's tired of being a protector. Now you have to worry about being protected from her. Great line, kind of like a mission statement. And I get it. Like, in my mind, it's kind of like when you're the person within a group carrying the group and you see people who don't always carry their own weight, or you feel like it's a difficult slog getting them to do the things that you need them to do to be a success. Like when you carry things on your shoulders and you're just like, why am I grifting when I'm helping you out, when I'm doing things for all of you? She has a justification. Now, to me, I don't know if this necessarily makes her a heel. This gives her a certain motivation for her, regardless of if she's a heel or a face, or she's within context of being a heel or a face. As long as she keeps this motivation, it will allow her to have that kind of chip on her shoulder, which, will come through with her wrestling, with her stories, with her personality. And that's really what I want. I want to see motivation. Even with, we have it with Trent. Trent is so pissed off with Orange Cassidy. And if you really think about it, the win at the pay-per-view gives Trent motivation. He's pissed off. It makes sense for him to want to join Don Callis. He's so bothered by this guy who just wins and is perfect and probably is, the left hand of King Khan, King Khan, the left hand of King Khan, and he's tired of it. He's like, he's also another person like, why me? I don't understand why that isn't, and maybe it can be a bit too samey, but why not that being Brian Keith? He's been a person that stepped on. This is a moment in time where it makes sense with these new people coming in, Okada, Mercedes, Ospreay, where the younger people are likely feeling it. And there's so much conversation right now with Ethan Page recently going to WWE. There's a lot of conversation about these young stars and not getting their spots. And where will they be in a few years if things keep going for them? So yeah, have a chip. Oh, we had it with Garcia as well. So yeah, have that chip on your shoulder, guys, and use that, because you should be hungry to get to the next stage. Hopefully we can see them progress to the next stage, at least for a Statlander, Oh man, look at these two. These two are going to be a power group. And what I love is that there's still this understanding that she's a little stronger. Because at the very end of the segment, she's holding a mic and she just slams it back into Stankley's chest. And she's like, yeah, mofo, you choke on this mic. Well, she didn't say that. But the impression is, that subtle moment is not just Stankley is corrupting her and is the power in this relationship. He's the voice. He's the person that will drive different things. But it's Statlander who is the one that has the strength. I'd watch this again. I'd watch this again. I'd watch this again. I will watch this again. We had a little package with MJF. I think it was just there to tide us over. We will be seeing him on the next Dynamite. I guess, it's shocking, but you give a package here, you present that he will be showing up on Dynamite, you get a little bit of that anticipation. Maybe this is a bit of the promotion that, if it works out, is what I've been missing when it comes to AEW. MJF knows how to package and promote himself. You don't have to worry so much about him and his presentation. So if anybody was pulling the strings in order to make this work, I gotta imagine MJF was like, just give me a package, put it in here, put me on the next show. This one is all sleepy, and just build me up, Chief. I'm ready to go. Chief? Build me up, Chief? What does that mean? The first thing we hear and the next segment that we get is, talking about the TNT Championship. Adam Copeland on that horrible, horrible dive. Like, what was he doing? And it's not an age thing. Look, anybody can hurt themselves going feet first. No one goes feet first when you're diving off of something that is like 9-10 feet in the air. You don't go feet first. Like, that was the time for a body block. I just don't know what happened. I'm so curious to find out what happened. But what we do find out that this is, well, first we have Okada telling everybody to shut up, bitches, which I loved. And then we have Matt Jackson telling, people hate Perry, by the way. People hate Perry. Something that I get from all of this is that people hate Perry. And not in the go away heat type of way that they have with Jericho. No. They just don't like the guy, but they love him. They love not liking the guy, if you know what I mean. We have from Matthew Jackson an understanding of how Adam Copeland did what he did. Apparently, before Adam Copeland went out, Matthew told him to break a leg. Horrible. Had me laughing. Had me absolutely laughing. Next, we learned that the Elite got a small gift for Okada. It was a Lamborghini. I don't know cars, but I know Lamborghinis. It looked very good. It said Rainmaker in the back of it. And he's like crying and he's like, I can't believe it, guys. I can't believe it, guys. And then the next thing you know, he kind of pulls his face away and it's all like just bullshit. Oh, man. I love Okada. I love him. And you know what? If it took having the Elite to have these characters, to have Okada as him, all day, every day. He's one equals two Matt and Nick Jacksons. If you don't like him, just focus on Okada. He will get you through the night. Oh, another wonderful moment is where Nicholas gets the crowd to say, "You deserve it. You deserve it." Oh, and like Okada's like, "Thank you, guys," and he's like, "No, not thank you. I do deserve it." Like, it's just brilliant stuff. I would watch this again all day, every day. I recommend that you just watch this segment. One of the few things to really, really sink your teeth in. All day, every day. So at first, it looks like they're going to give the belt to Jack Perry, the TNT Championship. They're just going to hand it off to him. And I've always wanted them to do something like this. And I'm shocked they didn't just do it because the people were booing. They hated the idea of someone just being handed the belt. When I think of I don't remember the moment, but my understanding is when Rob Van Dam had the belts taken from him and Triple H was handed a belt by whoever the GM was. Oh, that was that AEW thrifter guy who's just oh God, he's just making money off of being miserable. That person handed Triple H a belt and people didn't like it just because it was just bullshit, right? Excuse my language. Here, it works, but they didn't go that route. Instead, we had a proxy for Tony Khan, which I imagine they were going to do. You don't really want Tony Khan on television. I don't want Tony Khan on television. He's an awkward fellow. I enjoy him in doses, but if he was going to become an on-screen character, I wouldn't like that. In one of the realms, I made a comparison to what I understand Dixie Carter to have been to Impact, TNA, to Tony Khan. But one of the things that it feels like is still somewhat separated is Tony Khan, while it is a character within the realm of AEW, he's not an on-screen he's not an on-screen character. He's not someone that you see all the time. He's like a Jack Tunney, where he gets carted out every once in a while, but you do hear his voice and you hear his influences. Used to be through Shivani. Shivani's not a wrestler. He's not going to be taking bumps. In fact, Shivani couldn't even keep straight the names of belts, which I understand with how many belts there are in AEW. Not judging, just saying. Christopher Daniels, we get Christopher Daniels come out, and he's going to be the person that stands in place for Tony King Khan. I call him King Khan now. So we find out that, you have to earn the belt here, and I really think that was tone deaf. That was a mistake, considering that people have this impression, and they didn't get handed a belt. They did fight for them. It's just that they had very quick opportunities to fight for the belt, right? Within the world, this kayfabe world, Mercedes Moné, she got an opportunity to fight for the belt. She didn't just get the belt. Ospreay, he got the opportunity and has been fighting and got a chance to fight for the belt, and he got a belt. Here, it would have been someone was handed a belt, which is verboten. So it's a distinction. And I got to imagine, on the internet wrestling community right now, people are like just freaking the F out and grifting and thinking, well, why did Okada, sorry, I don't mean to condescend, but why does Mercedes Moné, Okada, and all these people get quick opportunities to win a belt? It is what it is, but it's not handing them the belt, and I imagine that there are people making a comparison, but it's just, you can make a comparison, of course you can, but the comparison doesn't gel, one is a particular context and the other is the other context. Of course, we got one and you got the other. I don't know. What am I saying? So there's going to be a tournament. Apparently no managers, no seconds, no anybody, no interference. I don't know if no interference, ultimately. This is to keep people and these matches, straight wrestling matches. We had that with the Continental Classic. We have that with the, whatever the belt is called, the Continental, I'm calling Okada's belt. We have that when Okada wrestles. For this tournament, we're going to have it where there's no interference. And I like that. I love that. I personally prefer that. And maybe, likely, I didn't notice this with a pay-per-view, but apparently other people were bothered by the amount of interference over the pay-per-view. I don't know why it didn't really sit with me. It wasn't something that I really picked up on or even paid attention to, but I have my grievances and things that I enjoy, and that just wasn't something that bothered me. So this is going to be a tournament, and it's going to set up a ladder match at Forbidden Door. A bit strange. Will they have international talents within this tournament? I would hope so, because if not, if it's just an AEW internal thing, then what would be the point? Something that we're going to talk about, or is an issue with the pay-per-view, with the main event that we will with the main event that's going to happen a little later. A small little thing, not to bust on a guy. People make verbal flubs all the time. Gosh, please let people just understand. Don't get so arse. It's all right. But anyway, we get to hear Christopher Danielson say Friday Night Dynamite. And it made me think of JR and when he would sometimes slip, and I just smiled. It was okay. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It's just something that makes you pay attention, And it's live TV, so what are you going to do? Just be like, oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, you probably acknowledge it and know what's going on. And what he did is he just kept going. This is what you got to do sometimes. You go through it. No one in the crowd, audience, or anything really noticed. No one yelled out, you effed up, you effed up. There was none of that. It was just a small moment. Then I don't get this. Daddy Ass and the Acclaim came out. Did you know Swerve is like Stevie Wonder because no one can see him in the ring? Yeah, he showed off the kill switch hair, gave a little bit of a speech. I love the man, I'm not gonna grift him too much for this. It's a bit, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, this is a little interesting. We got a very, very short backstage segment with Whoosh. I don't understand it, but, I love seeing him, and there's a lot of passion. But it was strange because we don't see him in the match that's coming up. Like, you present him, and then you don't do anything with him. I thought that was an interesting use of time, but I guess they had a few seconds and they wanted to fill it out. All right, so now we have the match of the night for me, the main event. And I mean, this was crazy. I can't even remember all the names. We saw people from New Japan, CMLL, and AEW. Jay White, Pac started it. There was Drew Listico. There was a luchador that we've seen who fought Daniel Bryanson before, and I love that guy. Horatio. Anyway, this guy is amazing. Then you had Leo Rush. Leo effing Rush came back. Ospreay, Claudio. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I know I'm missing somebody. But anyway, just listen to those names. Oh, Orange Cassidy. Now, the interesting thing with this match is, like, when people were coming out, I was like, yeah. You felt kind of the strength. And Jay White, Pac, they were, like, at a certain level. For me, when Orange Cassidy came out, it felt different. It felt like he didn't belong there. I don't know if it was because he was beaten up earlier in the night. We know that he's a kind of a Superman type. It just felt like his stature wasn't up with the others. And that's just a gut feeling that I had. When he came out, I was just like, oh. Or maybe it's I'm tired of seeing him in these opportunities. It's not like he's had a belt recently, but he's always in the mix, it seems, for these things. And it was just like one of those times where it was like, okay, you don't need to be there. You don't need to be in this particular event. Interestingly, he took the pin for Ospreay. I'm not giving anything away. Although I was shocked that Ospreay won here. Ospreay just won a belt at the pay-per-view. He has an international belt. He has a belt that seems like it would fit and be perfect for him, that he can travel the world with and to do different things with. But instead, he's in another tournament which he wins. This left me and the group feeling a certain way. It was a puzzlement. And I've gone online briefly just to see what people are saying, and I don't think there's a consensus. There's just a bunch of people like loving Ospreay loving Ospreay. And when he came into this match, like there was this energy. Whatever the crowd was at, and they were high on this, it went up, immediately went up. And you felt that for a few other people. For me personally, I think I felt that for Leo Rush with the crowd. But it was just absolutely there for Ospreay. Now, he's a special person. But one of the things that we worried about is, like, he just won the belt. He's now won an opportunity to go against Swerve at the next pay-per-view. He's got these challenges coming up for his belt. How can he can't win. He can't win. He cannot win and beat my man Swerve after 2 months of holding the belt. There's no way, after how he has been short-thrifted, and I'm using that word thrifted a lot, but there's no way after he's been shortchanged so much that he should have his belt taken away. It's a wrestling match, of course. Within the context of the wrestling match is about the people who win and lose. But for me, like, it's impossible for him to, this is unfortunate booking. This is one of those things where I feel like it's like when Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes, when Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes were going to fight and they were going belt for belt and they realized, oh, we put ourselves in a bad position. Like if Cody wins, he's carrying around a belt he doesn't need. And if the other one is not winning, we are not giving our world championship to this YouTube dude who, we're just not giving it to him. We're not giving it to him yet. It's WWE people. No, I'm sorry. By the way, I'm just really, really joking. Please, unless you want to write in my comments and, engage, just don't give me grief because I don't need it. But I feel like it's something like that where you're painting yourself a bit into a corner. Swerve can't lose here, but I guess you could give the loss to Ospreay, but wouldn't he be better served having his own match and with the international title going against someone from New Japan or going from someone from CMLL? Like, it just doesn't feel like I'm going to Forbidden Doors. So for me, this is a bit of candy. Like I'm fine. I'm fine with the actual idea of these two wrestlers that I love. I think they're so impressive, and putting them together. That's a form of a dream match. But at the same time, like I don't want Swerve to lose. I'm gonna see him at House of Glory. I bought a $150 ticket to sit front row with a poster and a bag and hopefully a chance to see Swerve if they have the meet and greet like they did the last time. I'm going this time. I'm getting myself in shape. I'm buying a whole new outfit. I'm going to see Swerve. I hope he has the belt too. Please. Seriously though, like, I know I'm repeating myself in this instance, but it's just something that is just, it's hard to wrap my brain around. Oh yeah, there's a guy named Shota. I think that Shota, this guy, I don't know, I forget his name, but he was pretty awesome. He was another person that was pretty awesome. Someone from New Japan, apparently a protege of Jon Moxley. Why not give it to him? Why not let him get a shot? I don't know. I don't know what the machinations of this is. Maybe this is an issue of not wanting. I don't know. I do not know. I have to imagine that there was, even if it was supposed to be someone in AEW, there would have been a better person to put into this to win. People would have wanted Orange Cassidy over Ospreay. I kind of understand that, although I understand that. And it would have been interesting to give Orange Cassidy finally a chance to see if Orange Cassidy can really. I thought they were going to try to elevate Orange Cassidy after his time with Moxley and that time with the Intercontinental belt. But it just didn't happen out. It didn't happen. They didn't take that story and, Orange Cassidy winning over Moxley and all that. They didn't take it to the next level with him. So I've been waiting and wondering, but I wonder if that ship has sailed. Oh yeah, by the way, in this match, watch this again, please. This was fun. We had Claudio giving the big twist, the big twirl, the big turn. Oh, I forget. But anyway, we had this man doing it to everybody, to pretty much everybody in this. And I mean, we had freaking Lio Rush. I marked out. I screamed. I yelled. I was jumping around. I was like a kid in the candy store. I was so effing happy. I'm so happy I'm singing now, and that's not very good. So I love this. I would have given it to Lio Rush and let them do something at the pay-per-view. Holy, why couldn't I have that? My complete chocolate sundae of a pay-per-view main event. Like, that would just blow my mind. Even if it wasn't a main event, I don't care. Just feed me. I said something about selling my great-grandmother, and I meant it. Oh, and who do you see over there ambling up, trying to get up the steps? Freaking Jay White. There's no one who can stumble over getting up onto an apron and trying to knock somebody off the ropes like Juice Robinson. He had 3 seconds of time, but he is someone who, when you think about maximizing your seconds, this is Juice freaking Robinson. He was just so scraggly and getting up there, and then he knocked off Pac, and then he fell back to the floor, and God dang it, he is just wonderful. He is, mwah. Why wasn't he in this? I don't think he would have won, and he did not fit in this match, but golly, we got to do something with Juice before. No, we just got to do something with Juice. The juice is loose. Juice has got him crazy. Juicy's got him crazy. Juicy's got him crazy. Oh, and we had this guy, Hechiro. Hechiro. I wrote it down. He's called the Mad Scientist. Transformational Scientist? Mad Scientist. I think we should do something. Collab. Anyway, honestly, I don't think they gave him enough time. He's brilliant. So that's pretty much it, everybody. You know, the end of the match, Ospreay, you know, stands tall. He already has his belt. But Swerve comes out. They do a stare down. Prince Nana sipping his coffee. There's nothing really said. We do get the final of Swerve and Ospreay. And, like, does this diminish Swerve? Like, do you really want people at this time split over Swerve? Uh, you're putting him already with Ospreay coming into AEW. There's this kind of a differing of levels. Like Ospreay is operating at such a high level. It's like the rest of you come up to me. You have wrestlers who can do it are already at that kind of like that summit, you know, an Omega, Danielson. But for the others, it's like, well, where are you? Swerve is amazing, but do we want to have comparisons between the two? Do we really want to split the audiences between them? Who is the face? And here, I guess it doesn't ultimately matter, but you're going to have two, you're going to have, people will root for whoever they root for. That's not the problem, I think, here. It's just, I feel to have Swerve or Ospreay be the most effective wrestlers and entities that they can be, especially at this point. With the match with Swerve and Christian, I feel it was so effective because Swerve was the face, Christian was a heel. You wanted to see Christian get beat the F up. There was no doubt about how much you didn't like Christian. We love Christian, but in the context of this world, we know how much we hate Christian, right? He's just the douche. My great-grandmother was screaming like, what is this guy and his family messing with this black man for, you know? That's that feeling that I don't want that person to win. It's a little bit different when you got these two people. It's like, I don't want him to win, but I also do want him to win, and I want him to win. And, ooh, you know, it clouds what can be a beautiful separation of feelings, you know? I'm probably going to harp on this again. It's going to be an amazing match. I know. It's just at this moment in time, this feels like a big, big, big mistake. Now, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Give me the booking. Maybe have, this is the opportunity to have Ospreay lose and to have Swerve just be a big, bad winner. And then finally someone within the context of this company can put Omega into his place. Let that be Swerve. If you let it be Swerve, I will try to be okay about all of this. If you let it be Swerve, I will try to let this be all right. If you let it be Swerve, then we will be all right. No, I'm just workshopping that. But listen, everybody, I'm tired, so I'm going to let myself go. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please remember to like and subscribe. Share this with anybody who might be interested. I will be doing a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Sorry, I will be doing a Ring of Honor watch-along later on this week. Hopefully this video will be up before that. I'm still getting used to recording and editing, and it takes some time at this moment, so maybe it'll be around the time that I'm working on the Ring of Honor video review. I might limit these to just Ring of Honors for now. I wanted to give this a shot. Let me know if you want more content in the, you know, Dynamite, Collision, more Dynamite range. Man, just this Dynamite. I don't really feel like recapping Collision at this moment. But if you would like to see more Dynamite related AEW material, let me know in the comments. Ring of Honor is just something that I want to do, so that's my plan. This is something extra, and this is like what I'm doing right now to kind of, you know, just do something different. And as you can tell, I'm sitting down today. I'm so tired. I just didn't really have the energy. It's something different. If you like standing up, let me know. If you like sitting down, also please let me know. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I am the Transformational Scientist. Until next time, goodbye, everybody. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm, 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 mm. Uh, just mm,